I'm going to be your MC today to introduce the stars of the show today, which will be not the founders who have to pitch, which is a little bit different, and why this is called the reverse pitch competition, because it's the VCs that are going to be pitching, and we can ask them those hard questions too, because yes, you do get a 5-minute Q&A after they get their 5 minutes. First, I'll back up. For those who don't know me, I'm Crystal Phillips, Senior Director at OSIF, which stands for the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund. And me and my team, we look for opportunities and programs that we can fund. And these programs have an opportunity to either grow, diversify, or create resilience in the economy in Calgary. So it's a pleasure to be here. My previous role, I was wearing a venture capital hat. I co-founded the Thinner Labs Fund 1. And before that, I started a neuroscience charity, and I still chair the board of that charity called the Branch Out Foundation. So I'll be considering all of those lenses as I watch our brave VCs pitch today. Now, we do have one who was unable to make it today, and we can dive right in. Although he couldn't make it, as you can probably guess, he created a video for you, so we can play that now.
Future Investment Initiative organized by BIF, and it seems that it got cold, catch cold on the flight back, so I apologize for that. We started the engineers in 2023 after spending 14 years at Saudi Aramco, where I managed to develop 50 granted patent, and this is where I help the companies that we invest in to develop their IP mode. And my partner, Felicia Parker, she's a co-founder and managing partner also at Engineers, and she managed to scale her company to 5 countries. How do we invest? We invest through Engineers Fund. It's a small size fund, $5 million. We invest from seed to Series A, B2B SaaS, and deep tech, and with a condition that it has to be a VC-backed company. We are planning to deploy the fund across 50 companies over a 4-year period, and we invest 100K per company. The Engineer Syndicate, we invest alongside the fund with our syndicate, which we deploy. Our check size ranges from 100K to $9 million, and our syndicate stand now over 35% IRR in the last 2 years. Fund, some of the companies that they are in our fund is Star Cloud, which is data center in space, whereas space has unlimited power supplies. The solar is available 24/7, and also the cooling. It's almost 0 Kelvin there in space, so it's the best place to generate and to establish a data center. Also, we have invested in Cyber Group, which is an operating system for venture capital, and they have now more than 1,000 VC firms in their platform. And Datascales, where they are developing AI chips, which is 27 better than NVIDIA GPUs. Also invested in Perception, which is a human company. They are working in the hand and developing the hand, and if they manage to do it, unlock the unlimited potential and use cases for all of the robotics. Mintra is an open source operating system for smart glasses. Minecraft is a cybersecurity company. Also for our syndicate, we have a few companies in our syndicate. Some of them is like SpaceX, Glad, Neuralink, Anthropic, which is you invested when it was 18 billion, now it's 200 billion plus. ByteDance is another company of TikTok. We invest in Stripe, Redlink, Canva, CoreWeave, which we exited last month. Lambda Lab, Replit, Micron, and many more. And IRR now stand at 35% across 50 investment. Some of our Canadian companies for the syndicate and the fund is Swish Solar, which develops a nanofilm to remove the sand in the Middle East and in the region from the solar cells, and also to remove the snow here in Canada or other northern countries to improve the efficiency. Also invest in Vox Cell. Vox is a Vancouver-based company. Armand also a Toronto-based company, and then AI is another Toronto-based company. So why do we select us to back you and to invest with you is we help our startups to raise capital. Through our venture syndicates, where we have 24,000 investors worldwide in our network, and we help also to do strategic introduction to our VCs network and family offices to lead the future round. We also provide operational support. Myself, I have 50 plus patent in the energy and AI. I can help the companies with the from their IP mode. Felicia, she has experience in also in building the MPB, go-to-market strategy, and many more. And also, we have also engineers. We are part of NVIDIA Alliance Network. We are also Techstar mentors, and also provide mentorship through our network, which is, we have a lot of them, executive founders, tech executives. Also we help in sourcing new hires, and also consultation and the strategic partnership. With this, I conclude my presentation today, and feel free to send me an email or to Felicia an email. And again, I apologize for not coming today. I wish I was there, but hopefully we can meet next time. And with this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we can still give him a hand. That was awesome. Very nice of him to put up that video for us. And did we have enough time to grab the QR code if you do have any burning questions? Okay, it'll be shared at the National Bank Investor Hub. Okay, great. Okay, next up from Panache Ventures, we have Achintya.
Thank you. Let's just test this. Perfect, awesome. Hi everyone, thanks so much for coming out. My name is Achintya. I'm a part of the investment team at Panache Ventures. And excited to be here and talk about who we are and what we do. So at Panache, we are a fund run by founders. Two of our partners, Pat Lohr and Mike Sigelski, are exited entrepreneurs themselves. And our two other partners, Prashant, based in Toronto, and Geneviève in Montreal, bring a wealth of experience from in operations, leadership, and some of them are also former later stage VCs themselves. Now, the rest of our team comes from a variety of backgrounds as well. Myself, I studied math at the University of Waterloo, then worked in the quantitative trading industry in Canada and the US, so worked at hedge funds and then worked at some other quant shops in Chicago. So I'm a math nerd. I like coding, I like building stuff. And the rest of our team is also really cool. We have team members who have worked in consulting. Some of them have founded their own startups. Some of our team members have worked in logistics and other VCs. So we come from just really diverse backgrounds and have worked in not only the US and Canada, but also Asia and Europe as well. Now, a bit about what we do. We are pre-seed and seed stage VCs. VCs have fun lingo to make ourselves sound smarter. All that means is we typically invest in companies that are roughly doing $1 million in ARR all the way to being pre-revenue. And we're sector agnostic. So we have investments in the robotics space all the way to B2B SaaS. And in terms of our current fund, we're deploying out of a $100 million fund two and writing checks up to $1.5 million into the companies that we invest in. What really excites us is our core sort of mandate and mission, which is we are Canada first. So we invest in Canadian companies or Canadian founders building internationally. A bit about us by the numbers. So far to date, our portfolio companies have raised north of $3.3 billion in fundraising. Right now we have around 93 active Canadian companies. That number is a bit higher now. We recently closed quite a few deals, which will be announced soon. And our companies have employed more than 5,000 people around the world, which is just really exciting. One of the numbers we're particularly proud of is that 78% number. I think that's a testament to the amazing work Canadian founders are doing. You're not only building companies that are exciting for local investors, but you have customers and clients around the world that are really excited about the products that are coming out of Canada. Now, a question that we often get asked, and if you're a founder, I encourage you to ask this to all the VCs that you talk to, is outside of capital, how else do you support your portfolio companies? And for us, that takes a few different avenues. One, I think what makes us unique is we have team members located across Canada. So myself and Pat, we're based in Calgary, but we have team members in Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto as well. So we're able to work in person wherever you are. If you're looking to make introductions or work with different companies across Canada, we're there to help you. And we also have tons of experience and networks in the United States as well. In terms of programming, we run around 3 things every year. One of them is we run workshops and like networking events for founders in San Francisco. We think it's really important for founders to explore sort of the ecosystems outside of where they work and go to places like San Francisco. It's the hub of innovation and startups in the world. So take some time, go there and see what's exciting. 2, we run Series A and seed fundraising boot camps for our founders and other founders as well. We hosted our first seed boot camp about 2 weeks ago. We had about 70-ish founders come out. And the reason we host those is just like tech changes, the fundraising climate changes all the time. So we think it's really important for founders to have face-to-face time with other founders who have raised money and also other investors so you can understand what they're looking for in today's fundraising climate. And the last event, which is my favorite one, is we run a CEO summit every year for all of our portfolio companies. We bring out all of our portfolio founders to typically one city, which is Toronto, and we have a full day of peer-to-peer learning. I think there's nothing quite like having the chance to sit down with the founder who's been there, made the mistakes, and you can just talk to them and learn as much as you can. And also for our founders who are later stage, it ends up being a surprisingly exciting opportunity for them to meet, like the young next generation of founders and learn what's really exciting and what's going on in the tech world today. Lastly, I'll close this off with a quick couple of portfolio highlights in Alberta. So one of our portfolio companies is PurposeMed. They are right here, Calgary-based, about a 15-minute walk into downtown. They're one of Canada's fastest growing startups. They are building health solutions for underserved communities, and they just rolled out their main platform to all 50 states in the US, so they've been very hard at work, really exciting company to keep an eye out for. And lastly, our portfolio company, Deep Sky, they are a direct carbon capture company, so their thesis is to help the climate, they want to remove carbon out of the atmosphere, and they built the world's first research and commercialization center right here in Innisfail, Alberta. And a couple of our team members are actually there right now touring the facility. So just a quick couple highlights to close it off, and yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, so now Q&A. As you can see, we have a throwable microphone. Questions, anyone? We got one here.
Hi. So you're sector agnostic and you've seen pretty much everything. What was one of the most innovative companies you've invested in and which surprised you?
Is this working? Yeah, I think so. So in my first week that I joined Panache, which was just over a year ago, we worked on an investment in a company called Featherless, and they work in the AI infrastructure space. And coming into this, I thought, like, surely this must be a solved problem. You just buy the newest NVIDIA GPUs and you're good to go. But one of their core thesis points was, for a lot of applications at the inference stack, you don't need the most expensive GPUs. Like, you can actually run a lot of inference on second and third order GPUs, and you get the throughput and the sort of latency that you want for a lot of use cases. So a lot of their infrastructure stack actually leverages older GPUs, and it works amazing. And they're one of the top inference providers for Hugging Face, which is like the largest repository for open source models at the moment. So unexpected idea, sounds simple, but they've been seeing awesome traction.
Any other questions?
Nice catch.
Nice.
Thanks, I'm left-handed. You mentioned that you invest in Canadian outfits that are doing international expansion. Is that only? Or do you, how about for domestic operations?
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. So we have many portfolio companies that are based in Canada, their operations are in Canada, but we're also able to invest in Canadian founders that may be based in, say, San Francisco or New York, for example. Yeah.
Any others?
Don't be shy.
Okay, thank you, Achintya. And you got one more? Let's go for it. Favorite part of your job?
Favorite part of my job is meeting founders. My old job was coding in front of a computer 12, 14 hours a day. I liked it. I like doing math. It's great. But when I changed my careers, I wanted to do something where I got to meet people and build relationships. So the coolest part is every day, it's a part of my job. I actually get to meet people building products they're passionate about, and it's amazing.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Achintya. Okay, next up we have Leana from BDC's fund, Industrial Innovation Venture Fund. Give her some encouragement.
Maybe wrong. Sorry, Alan is go first.
That was just a joke. It's actually going to be Alan Lowe from Two Small Fish Ventures. Let's give him a round of applause.
Two Small Fish Venture is an early stage VC investing in the next frontier of computing and its applications. We've been around as an investor for over a decade. We cover from pre-seed to seed plus and everything in between. Hi, my name is Alan Lau. I'm co-founder and operating partner at Two Small Fish Ventures. The quick way to introduce myself is I'm a recovering CEO, three-time entrepreneur. I got 2 exits, and I'm an electrical engineer by training, and now, of course, as you know, I'm a deep tech VC. I think it would be a missed opportunity if I don't show the profile of all my partners here. You can read. I'm not going to go through each one of them. But my background, I was the former CEO and co-founder of Wattpad, AI-driven storytelling company that we grew from the first user in 2006 all the way to 100 million users using AI to find the best stories on our platform and turn them into TV shows and movies. And sold the company in 2021 for $660 million US dollars. The founding data scientist that helped Wattpad became an AI company in 2014. Brandon is one of our partners now. Eva also, of course, one of the founding team members at Wattpad. Her background is industrial engineer and semiconductor. And of course, Brandon's classmate, Dr. Albert Chen, CTO at robotics company Forcent, have done photonics, have done semiconductor, smart glasses. All 4 partners, as you can see, we are all engineers and startup operators. We have done the full spectrum from startup, ground zero, to finding product market fit to fully scale up. We have done it. In the spirit of time, I'm not going to go through the thesis. If interested, go to the blog post. But I do want to highlight 3 things. When we talk to founders, we ask them, is your product reshaping large-scale user behavior? Are you taking full advantage of the collapsed cost of intelligence? And do you have a strong technical and data moat? These are the few things that we look for, and these are the 5 areas that we invest in. And we are experts in those 5 areas, including academically and operationally and everything in between. Our unique edge. We know everyone in the ecosystem. Wattpad was backed by tier 1 legendary firms like Unit Square Ventures and Coast Square Ventures and other global international amazing VCs. So our access, you can trust me on this one. We know everyone. Assess, I'll skip that, and assist. And as you can tell from my title, I'm the operating partner. I don't look at new investments most of the time. My full-time job is helping our 60 plus portfolio companies, help them to become amazing. That's my full-time job. I have one job. Access, I want to give some Albertan love here. Reinforcement learning godfather, Rich Sutton, who is living in Alberta, co-founder of Amy, and also his Open Mind Research Institute. He co-founded that too. I'm one of the board members. This is just one of the many examples of we know everyone. I don't want to spend more time on this point. I think you get the message. Our founders love us. You can call up any one of them. You don't need me to introduce. You can co-reach out to them. They would all say the same thing. But I would add, doesn't work. Yes, it's working now. Cyanide is one of the most secretive company that you have never heard of, but it's actually a very successful scale-up based in Edmonton. All I can tell you is they do 3D chip in semiconductor. If I tell you more, I have to kill you. But this is our Albertan love that I want to send you. This is one of the many breakout successes in our portfolio. And second last slide, it will be a missed opportunity if I don't mention this. Me and Eva, we just donated $2 million to University of Toronto. Why I want to mention this? Because as an investor, it's not just a job to us, it's a calling. So before I flip to the last slide, because this is a reverse pitch, when entrepreneurs pitch to us, we always ask them, what is your one differentiator that is world-class and unique? And you should ask me too. So what is my answer? Very simple. I can summarize this question in 4 words. We have done it multiple times. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Now, we have a Q&A, but obviously we don't want to be asking questions about Zynite. Any other
ask.
questions?
I may not answer.
I mean, we have a multiple-time
crystal
founder,
clear.
Wattpad, CEO, former CEO. We got one here.
No, Mike.
I'm loud enough, I suppose. All right, since this is a reverse pitch, and you said we should ask you what your differentiator is, let me ask you.
Sorry.
Since it's a reverse pitch, and you asked, us to let you know, asked you what your differentiator is, let us also ask you why we should not approach you for funds.
Why we should? Yes, very good question. I share the thesis. I share the 5 areas. If it's outside of those 5 areas, we don't invest. If we, true story, if we don't think we are the domain expertise in that company, both academically and commercially and everything in between, we would gladly walk away because we don't think we qualify as an investor. We don't qualify on the cap table.
I'm going to pick up on a question or a theme that Crystal brought up the other day.
Can you
sorry,
turn up to my icon?
Sorry, yeah, can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pick up on a theme that Crystal mentioned the other day about building the next Canadian narwhal.
Next Canadian.
Thank you.
The next narwhal, so like $1 billion Canadian company. And I'm curious, based on your portfolio and the founders you work with, what advice do you have for someone in Calgary who wants to build that next narwhal?
Very good question. Well, one thing I want to say is there are many unicorns in our portfolio. I didn't have time to share this. What it wasn't, but close enough, in Canadian dollars at least. What I would say is we have seen what success looks like. And for success to be a successful company, there are a million things you have to do right. But I would summarize in one sentence: fast iteration, fast pacing, excellence in execution. The CEO is unrecognizable every 2 years because the CEO is growing very quickly, rapidly with the company, and so on and so forth. But I think in the Calgary or Alberta context, like what I said, what is your one differentiator that is uniquely world-class? And Calgary or Alberta has so many things that is world class, very unique. Those areas you have the expertise. You can be the winner in the world and focus on those areas.
So you had mentioned pre-seed. So the question would be, at what stage would you recommend a company basically approaching to work with you guys? Like how early is too early? Is there certain like milestones, things that you're looking for specifically before you'll start working with them?
I think all but 2 companies that we invested in the past 3 years are pre-revenue. But you need to have the technology built. We don't invest in ideas. We want to kick the tire on the products. It could be a prototype before product market fit is perfectly okay. So that would be the sweet spot. That's by definition, that's pre-seed to seed. And sometimes seed plus, you would see companies that are already commercializing some revenue, but might not be fully getting out of the product market fits zone. And that's okay too.
I have one quick question.
Yes.
Why 2 small fish?
I'm the smaller fish. My wife is the bigger fish.
Nice. Any other questions? We probably have time for one more.
Yeah, you had mentioned that your day job was working with the CEOs. Are you able to just help us understand what that looks like from the CEO perspective?
Yeah. It's a really wide range. I don't operate inside the company, but I will share this example. This is why I feel motivated. Please don't take this the wrong way. Many times I receive a text message from a CEO at 10 p.m. in the evening. Alan, I need to talk to you. You are the only one who can help me. And half an hour later, usually that CEO can go back to sleep. So it can be some really tough issue, from human issues inside the company to external partners to fundraising and everything in between. I cannot give them the answer, but I can share my experience with them. These are I've seen this 5 times. These are the 5 different ways to solve this. Pick one of them or pick the combination. My job is not to make the decision for you. My job is to increase the quality of your decision so that you can make a world-class decision here. That's a typical job, I would say.
One more?
No.
Okay, we're done. Okay, Alan, thank you
you
so much.
Thank you.
Leana, thanks for your patience. You are up next. I confirmed.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. Thanks so much for being out here. So my name's Leana Keto. I'm an associate principal with BDC Capital's Industrial Innovation Fund. I am a former oil and gas engineer, now turned venture capital investor. And so being a member of BDC Capital, I would be remiss if I did not give a bit of a primer in terms of who we are as BDC Capital. But we are Canada's largest and most active venture capital investor. We have a $2 billion platform of sector-focused funds, which really span a wide variety of opportunities. From our various early stage, we have a seed fund, which is focused on the very early stage, potentially pre-revenue companies. And then some more sector-focused funds. We've got a sustainability fund and a climate fund. Those ones are focused very much on carbon emissions mitigation and different technologies around that side of things. We also have a Thrive platform for women. And so these are funds focused on teams with women at the helm. And then finally, the one that I'm a part of, the Industrial Innovation Fund. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about our fund and where we're looking to invest. But we're really looking at the areas where we think that Canada really has a right to win. And so if we think about GDP, there's a really significant opportunity within Canada within advanced manufacturing, ag and food technologies, and then extractive industries, so things like mining and oil and gas, where these different industries make up a really significant component of our GDP. But historically, there hasn't really been a ton of venture capital investment within these sectors within Canada. And so we're really coming in and to fill a gap within the market there. And beyond just these sectors, we also look at different enabling technologies that can fit all across these different layers. So things like AI, things like drones, robotics are very interesting to us. We look at both hardware, we look at software, we're agnostic to those. But we like to come in at the Series A and up stage. So what that means is ideally you have some level of commercial traction, not necessarily a revenue target, but you have some level of commercial indication. And typically we're coming in Series A and up with a minimum check size of around 5 million CAD. We're currently investing out of our second fund, which is $200 million, and we've fully deployed capital out of a $250 million fund. And one thing I'll say about our team is we are a group of diverse individuals with really significant backgrounds within the different sectors that we are investing in. So I mentioned I used to work in oil and gas, but we have a number of engineers on our team, folks that have worked with companies like Siemens, with Schlumberger, with a variety of different like chemical manufacturing companies, et cetera, folks with deep finance backgrounds. So we're really got a strong bench strength in terms of being able to support the founders and the companies that we invest in for the different sectors that they're operating in. This is just a little bit of a highlight of some of the companies that we've invested in, things that are really interesting to us that kind of span the broad variety of areas we're looking at, everywhere from robotics and whatnot to industrial AI. And I'll give a shout out to platform company Ambient as one of our portfolio companies. So they're also great tenants here at Platform. And then I wanted to highlight a success story from one of our funds. And this is a company out of Kitchener-Waterloo called BinSentry. So they've developed a technology. It's a sensor that goes on the grain bin for animal feed that they're focused on poultry and pigs. And we invested in them at the Series A stage way back in 2020. And since that time, they've raised a couple of rounds of capital, and it's been really incredible for them to see their growth. They've expanded their, moving from Kitchener to they've got a really broad customer base down in the US, and now they're doing international expansion within Brazil. And so a really great success story. And we've been able to help them in terms of thinking about governance, making introductions to folks within industry for their board chair, for various different hires, and helping them on their fundraising journey. And in terms of why BDC, and you might want to have BDC invest, as I mentioned, we're one of the largest venture capital investors within Canada, and so with that, we've got a really great network of groups across Canada. This is both on the investor side of things, but within other different ecosystem players as well that we can be really helpful with. So that's it for my presentation, but happy to take questions.
Thank you, Leana. Maybe I'll start. Having an engineering background, are there any transferable skills that you have that might have surprised you that work well in BC?
Yeah, I think, because we're investing in so many different industrial sectors, the biggest thing about an engineering background is being able to look at technologies and, that sometimes they're really complex. And so trying to understand how they work can be really helpful. So that's been the most biggest transferable skill, I would say.
Nice. And for those who don't know, it's great to have BDC here. They are definitely one of the biggest staples in this country for getting all of this activity going at that early stage. So,
thanks, Crystal.
Any questions from the crowd? Okay, I have another question. What did you think about the budget yesterday? I saw the words fund of fund, growth capital. I was like, we're stepping in the right direction.
We are. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes over the course of the last year, but I think there's good opportunities within the budget and really opportunities where I think BDC is going to be able to step up and support our country and support entrepreneurs, and that's been a key area of focus. So, it's stepping in the right direction for sure.
I got one in the front.
Real simple question. Do you guys do healthcare med tech as well?
So good question on the healthcare and med tech. We don't have a dedicated healthcare fund at the moment. We do, if a company qualifies through the Thrive, the Women in Tech platform, they're doing investments within that. but otherwise we don't have a dedicated healthcare fund at the moment, but stay tuned. Oh, I see a question back there.
I'm just curious, just based on seeing your ads on TV and whatnot, do you get funding from the Canadian government? Are you affiliated with the Canadian government?
Great question, yes. So we are a Crown Corporation, and our funding does come from the government. So we also, I should mention, we do, most of BDC is known for doing financing on the debt side. The BDC Capital platform is just a very small part of what BDC does, but we are supported by the government.
Another one way up here. Can we shout?
Yeah, so the Thrive platform, it is sector agnostic, and there's 2 different areas of focus for it. For the very early stages, there's something that's called the Thrive Lab, and so these are pre-seed companies where, so no revenue yet, but we're looking for opportunities where there were good opportunity for societal change. And then within the Thrive Fund, that is a direct equity investment, typically at the Series A and up. And so sector agnostic, hardware, software, all are a fit within the Thrive Fund.
Do we have one more up there? Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
Give Leana a hand. Thank you so much. No, we have one more.
Oh, one more.
Okay. Another tease.
When investors talk about pre-revenue, does that mean absolute zero? I mean, if a company, they had one customer that gave them $50, are they no longer pre-revenue?
Well, that's a good question. Can I put on my typical engineering answer and say that depends? I mean, pre-revenue can mean many things. What I would say is I would have it exclude like grants and things like that. So if you've got a customer that has purchased your product, even if it's for $50, it's your first indication of revenue, first indication of product market fit.
Okay, last call. Now I'm worried. Someone's going to play a trick on me. I know it. Okay, round of applause. Thank you, Leana. Okay, last up, we have Graham Day from Spring Impact Capital.
Awkward. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invitation, Platform Calgary. Love to be here. Love this city. I'm based in Victoria, BC. My partners are in Vancouver. Love the vibe I always get when I come here, the innovation, the people. Really love everything about Calgary, with the possible exception of the Flames. But
Boo.
Whoa, I know. If you're following along, I've already made 2 mistakes of doing a pitch. One, insulting a hockey team of my audience, and 2, somehow got the date wrong on the presentation. So accuracy is important when you're pitching. I lucky to had a career starting in management consulting, moving to VC and impact investing, being on the other side of the floor as a member of a founding team for a scale-up company that went global, and now back to investing. Those of us that you're hearing, we have this incredible privilege, and some of my co-presenters have mentioned it, just getting the energy and hearing so much about your innovations and your work. And it can be overwhelming, frankly, learning so much about so many different new areas. I'd say we've created our fund to focus on the fact that we've limited time on this earth, and we as partners want to focus on some of the really important problem areas for what is a relatively sick planet and a relatively sick society in many ways. And so Spring Impact Capital is a fund working to support Canadian companies for sustainability and health. That means we focus on climate tech and health tech, and we're also doing that in a way that looks for diverse founding teams. We are not, we were not born unto ourselves as an independent organization. We actually come from a larger platform play. So you may have heard of Spring. Spring is 11 years old. It's based in Vancouver. It's an accelerator and an ecosystem support organization. Has worked with many founders I'll tell you about in a minute. And that is our sort of accelerator programmatic wing. We've done work across the country. Spring Impact Capital is the VC fund that I'm a managing partner for. And we also have Propel Impact as part of our family that runs a lot of student-led work across universities across Canada. And as a sort of a group, as a platform, been around for 11 years. We have 24 team members across Canada. So like Panache, with a lot of, you can meet people in different cities. That's important, and expand. We are there for you. Worked with a lot of different companies and facilitated a lot of investments as part of syndicates. You can see some of the companies that we've worked with there from the accelerator side. Moving to the fund side, who are we? So I'm up there, mentioned a little bit of my journey. Olivia Hornby is my partner in crime. She is an accomplished finance professional with experience from RBC, Van City, and Goldman. And Keith Ipple is relatively well known, especially here in Western Canada. I think he's on the speed dial for hundreds of founders across the country as a multi-time founder and just fantastic advisor. So the three of us founded Spring Impact Capital. We surround ourselves with some fantastic advisors, which you as founders, when you join us, get access to. Leading thinkers in different spaces and across the country as well. So coming back a little bit to our thesis, early stage, and what we mean by that is pre-seed and seed, but we all know those terms feel like they're moving under our feet sometimes. So for us, that means we invest first check between $250,000 and $500,000 in rounds that are usually between $1 and $3 million, and our purpose is usually to try to crowd in others with us, either in a lead position or a follow position. And that's often where I see, and you might agree, where your angels start to tap out or be tapped out, but before some of the larger VCs can come to the table. So I think we share that with Panache a little bit, coming in at that stage to sort of bridge you and train you up so you're ready to take on that larger seed or Series A capital. I mentioned the areas of planet and human health. For us, climate means three things. We roll up our impact and we measure it, which means you need to commit to measure it as well, and that's greenhouse gas reduction, that's waste reduction or diversion, or water treatment. So those are our three areas for climate, and on the health side, we're looking at patient outcomes and vulnerable populations. And yeah, I'll skip through process relatively quickly, but obviously we source, we score, and the most important part there is the build, right? We're working with you on specific areas. The team has different expertise. We're often leaning into, from my background, finance and unit economics on your models. Keith's background is a go-to-market. And Olivia and I also do a lot of impact measurement to help you tell your story and be able to fundraise on the back of powerful impact metrics and turn those impact metrics into business intelligence that lets your product evolve and attract more capital. We're a $14 million fund. We're a small fund. It's our first fund. We've got some 41 LPs behind us, some great foundations and institutions there who are really interested to meet you and meet our portfolio companies and help where they can. Also some financial institutions there as well. We're proud to have won several awards, even though we're pretty early in this. And I will just finish with this slide. And I don't call it companies, I call it our founders slide, because at the end of the day, we're investing in you as founders. We have 8 different companies represented by these founders that are in 4 different provinces at the moment, doing fantastic work, and would love to work with you and maybe have your name up on this slide the next time we speak with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Graham. Any questions for Graham? Pierre.
Thank you. Hi, Graham. Thanks for the presentation. My name is Jeremy. Looks like you're investing in medical device companies, and I was wondering what kind of attributes you're looking for in a medical device in terms of like complexity, class, regulatory process. Like, what would you look for?
Yeah, so you may have seen Retina Logic is there, so they're a local Calgary company that we're excited about. For us, we think a lot about time time to market and time to revenue. So our rule of thumb is needs to be earning revenue in less than 2 years, which usually puts that in perspective of how many more potential trials might be ahead. We're much more comfortable class 1, class 2. So those are usually our gates: how long to revenue, and the complexity and risk around trials. We're not medical tech experts, so we rely on our advisors for that, but we get a little uncomfortable when it's class 3 and too complex for us.
But I don't want the mic. I don't want to get that in my head. Can you tell us a little bit about the impact and what would
Great.
you need to see from a startup for it to qualify as an impact investment? Because I think some people are sort
Yeah, perfect question.
in the middle ground. So and maybe if you have an example, that would be great.
Yeah, great question. So impact investing is an interesting space because it means a lot to a lot of different people. For us, it comes down to, has the founder started this from kind of a mission-oriented position? Are they kind of going out there with a specific thesis around solving a problem? And I think you can argue almost all founders are in some ways, but can we distill that? And then the other big companion to that is there a way to measure it? And this is tough. The farther you are from the direct impact, the harder it is to measure. If you're a software, and as an example, we struggle often with carbon accounting software because we cannot necessarily see that by measuring carbon for an enterprise, it's going to actually result in action. So you would need to prove to us a bit of a logical chain where that measurement of carbon would actually cause you to implement things in your business that would reduce carbon. Whereas other companies that have perhaps a more efficient engine, we can look pretty easily at what that is going to be. And then I would just add to that is it's important to sort of have thresholds as well. So we're trying to get to a place where we look at our climate companies, if they're going to fit in that GHG bucket, can they at scale, assuming everything goes right in the future, get to be around 1% of Canada's GHGs, which is about 700 megatons of carbon. So is it an important enough idea that it's going to make a dent in some of our carbon reduction targets? So yeah, measurement is big, mission is big, and then can it be a big enough idea that it's going to move the needle? Great question. Yeah, so we want the business metrics to move lockstep with the impact metrics. So we never want to be in a position with a company where they're having to decide between doing something better for the environment or trying to make better return on investment for investors. So a lot of the companies that we will invest when we know that sales and GHG mitigation or waste reduction move together. So that's the most sort of important piece of that. What was the other part of your question? Was that, did I get it? Yeah.
Maybe a more personal question. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey from management consultant to venture fund and maybe the strength that brings for your founders as well?
Oh, good question. Did anybody else start in management consulting here? Are there any other recovering management consultants? No. Okay. It was a fantastic journey. I still use so much of that analysis that I learned as an analyst, particularly in drilling into unit economics with funds, and so I should say founders and companies. So appreciation for the details behind how you move a business narrative onto a spreadsheet and back. The personal story more is that, man, management consulting was kind of a crazy period of time, a lot of work, a lot of fun. But in one of my last projects was a company that was a private equity fund that had hired us to optimize rail transportation from Wyoming to Texas for coal, because this private equity company was buying out some coal power plants. And it was a very sketchy regulatory move that they were trying to do just before coal was getting kind of regulated. And it felt not a place that I wanted to be putting my time and energy. I was also doing things in aerospace and retail and much more sort of neutral subjects, but some of the clients that I think required to work for kind of got me to move on for it. Yeah, did a master's in development and economics and learned actually in my work in the developing world, mostly in Latin America, how private enterprise can actually lead to incredible social change. So that was the impetus for my movement to an investor.
We got one way up there. Can you speak loud?
Project, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I can project.
Good to see you. Thank you.
I'm curious, with food and ag kind of combining for about 25% of GHG emissions.
Yeah.
Is that a core aspect of your thesis?
Yeah.
Because one of the things we're chatting with when we chat with food and ag folks is that that's the background they don't bring. They don't have any of this impact knowledge.
Yeah. So we want to do more ag, and we've looked at a few different companies in it. When that company can tell us the GHG story or sometimes a toxicity story on organics, we're interested. I think where we struggle and always looking for input and thoughts, especially in this province that has so much agriculture, is in most of the ag deals we see are productivity drivers, which don't align to it's not that it's bad, it just doesn't line up or add up to our impact metrics. So if you're going to grow more in an acre on a productivity basis, that's great, but then can you also show us how it's going to use less water or less fertilizer? And if you can do less fertilizer, then we can measure the GHG reduction and the reduced fertilizer production. So we're trying, I guess the short answer, Mark, is yes, but many of them don't make that impact journey of us when we're trying to relate it back to water savings, GHG reductions, or waste reduction. Does that sort of answer your question? Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Say it again. What are my metrics? Great question. So, as the companies grow, I guess one of my biggest jobs is setting up what will be the metrics and whether you will be able to measure them, because if we're honest, we're investing in a lot of pre-revenue companies that there's nothing to measure yet. But it's pretty obvious early on in these discussions with founder whether they're thought about it and willing to do it, and it's relatively straightforward to do so. So in my engine example, if I know this engine is going to replace a diesel genset, and I can know what the efficiency gain is, I can pretty easily through math understand what the reduced CO2 emissions might be, and I can multiply that by the number of sets they're going to projected to sell over the coming years and come to some sort of a projected number, and whether I think that's important enough to move the needle. So GHG reduction and from a projected and then a quarterly measurement perspective, and then waste reduction when we look at circular economy deals that are trying to reduce waste that's going to the landfill or reusing. Those would be the two kind of most obvious ones, at least in the environmental space, to measure. But it's not easy, and what we don't want to do is burden companies. So if you've worked in the social space at all, you'll know that sometimes there is a list of, here's the 50 things we want you to measure, and we absolutely don't want to do that. So we jointly with the founders pick 3 to 5 metrics, and a couple of those are ones they're measuring for their business anyway. So we try to keep it as simple as possible and as crystallized as possible. Follow up.
How about when you have some intangible benefit that you cannot measure with numbers?
Yeah, this comes up a lot in our health portfolio, right? Like, mental health. And so there we think about it from what we call a breadth rather than depth portfolio. So how many patients are being impacted, and then we try to couple that with, in the health side, clinical studies that can show us measurable and statistical change in health outcomes. But yeah, the soft stuff works well, but unless we can measure it, it actually doesn't roll up. And our LPs are expecting not just good stories, but they're expecting impact data.
Okay, thanks. Oh, we have one more. In the spirit of no time? Okay. I have got good news for you. If you can see up here, Graham will be at the National Bank Investor Hub next. So even if you haven't registered, you actually can participate in that next session. But before you all leave there, I just wanted to one big round of applause to all of our pitchers and our investors today. Thank you so much. One of the exciting takeaways that I had is the most common thing across all of these pitches is that when it got, and I don't know if you noticed this, when it got to that slide where they got to talk about the founders and the companies that they're backing, their eyes light up, and I sense a little of a tone change. And that, you can tell, is really what drives an investor. It's by all of the stories of the innovators themselves. So huge applause for featuring that as part of your pitch. It was very obvious to me that that's something you do and part of the passion of being an investor. So thanks again to you, and also thanks for such an engaging discussion and Q&A sessions by the audience. Hopefully you can get more of your questions answered in this next session. Otherwise, I'll see you around at Innovation Week.